What up, what up, what up? This is Apex the guy with arms too short to box with God. AMC, FSG, the anger management crew, Fire Stick Gang, we in the building. 154 division is now heating up. The hottest division on wax right now. Yes, I said hottest division on wax right now. And it's about to shape up real nicely. Yes, we might potentially be getting a remake of the 147 clash of Bud Crawford and Earl Spence, but it's gonna be flipped. Kind of like Julio and Young and Ace, when Young and Ace got shot in his car. You know, 3 got killed and 1 lived, and then with the Julio, 3 lived and 1 died. You know, it's gonna be flip side. You know how Earl Spence had 3 belts and Terrence had 1. This time, Terrence Crawford has a chance to have 3 and Earl might have 1. And I'm gonna break it down for you. And then the coup de grace, yes, the cherry on top is the winner gets a chance to go against the man, the myth, the legend, Saul CANELO Alvarez. But I'm gonna break it down for you right here. Jermell Charlo, the current undisputed champion with no belts, is sitting back trying to petition for his chance to get a shot at the title. Yes, but we're gonna get to that next. First off, we got side A and we got side B. We got Earl Spence on side A, we got Terrence Crawford on side B. And yes, even though Terrence Crawford beat Earl the True Spence, Earl is still the A side. And that's showing you right now with the ticket sales that Bud is going through with the Magnum fight. And with the dropout of Tim Tszyu versus Virgil Ortiz, ticket sales have gotten to a halt. They even have, I think they said about 6,000 tickets are back up for resale with do not buy. Like, it's over $1.2 million gate that's minus. So yes, this fight has taken a hit with the loss of Virgil Ortiz and Tim Tszyu, which is crazy because they also got headliners like David Morrell on the fight. They got Esau Pitbull Cruz with his following versus El Rayo. So this right here shows that Terrence Bud Crawford, even though he beat Earl Spence, is still not a draw. Yes, fans have a long memory and they don't forget. They're still mad about the time when Terrence promised us the Earl fight and we got David Avanesian. Earl had enough time to look a lot worse, weight drain. They feel like the fight was a little bit too long. It was overcooked. Like when you put that steak in and you let it cook too long, yes, it was overcooked. They felt like Earl stayed at the weight division a little too long. Terrence held him out. Earl hadn't fought for over a year, while Terrence got him a fight in there. But that's neither here nor there. That's on another story. But make sure you hit that like, share, and that subscribe button. Every day at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have one of the best boxing talks on the internet. Me and my lovely host, Key Alexandria, and we also have an open panel so anybody can get in, spit what they got to say, and you know, we go back and forth. Come join the anger management crew, Fire Stick Gang, be a part of the family. Now, on the A side, we got Earl Spence, who is now about to fight Sebastian Fundora for the WBC belt and the WBO. But the WBO, Turkey Al-Ashit and Daniel Kinahan, yes, Daniel Kinahan, he's still in the background. Yes, WBO still whatever Bob orders, which is Daniel Kinahan. And, you know, allegedly, he's still funneling money through the system. That's why Turkey Al-Ashit has all this money to put out here. That's why Turkey Al-Ashit don't care about the price, because the money is getting washed like a laundry and it's coming back crystal clean. That's why you see that Saudi is able to put out all these fights with these bogus ass numbers, but we're not gonna go to that. I'm just glad we're getting the fights. Since this happened, we're getting great fights, yes. And when they wash it, they lose about 20-25%, but hey, you're getting back clean money. But Fundora versus Spence. Fundora has the WBO and the WBC, but they're trying to force Fundora into fighting Terrence Crawford. But with this Magnum fight, you see that Terrence Crawford is not selling, so Fundora's going to go with the money. He's going to go with the great fight. He's been calling out Earl Spence since Spence was at 147. He also alluded to the fact that he will come down to 147 and fight Earl Spence. Yes, that's what Sebastian Fundora said. Well, Earl's at your house. He's knocking on your door. So that means you ain't got to come down, buddy. He came to you. So the winner of this fight is going to be in line for another blockbuster fight. This is going to be like the Super 6 series that was in 168 with Andre Ward and Mikhail Kessler. Or better yet, like the Super 6 series they had at the 140 division with Josh Taylor and Regis Prograis. Like, this is one of them tournament styles, and I love it. We starting to clean it up. But like I said, on Spence side, we got Sebastian Fundora versus Earl Spence. They will be fighting for the WBC belt because WBO said if he does not fight Terrence Crawford, then they're going to strip him. Terrence Crawford is now fighting Magnemov for the WBA and the WBO interim. So if Fundora gets in the ring with Spence, more than likely, they're going to strip him and elevate Terrence Crawford, make him an emo champ. So they're trying to get Terrence Crawford with 2 belts. But even though Turkey and Daniel Kinahan pushing this like this, Terrence is still not selling. They're going to lose a lot of money trying to gain. But Spence and Fundora, that's going to be a great fight. I got Spence coming back off his long layoff, body snatching. Fundora's too big, too long. He got a body wide open, and Spence has been known for breaking trees down, chopping it down like his name was George Washington. But we also got another fight. Yes, sir. Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz and Oscar De La Hoya alluded to the fact that they want Earl Spence in Dallas. That right there will sell out Jerry's World. Yes, I'm talking about 80,000 plus fans at Jerry's World sold out. The Mexicans, the Dallas, and everybody else coming to see Virgil and Earl Spence. Virgil, who's undefeated, and every fight that he has fought has been with a KO. So that is going to be a very rough and tumble, ready to rumble type fight. They're not going to take this to the scorecard. Somebody's getting stopped. But before Virgil do that, he has a hard task, and that's Boachuk. Sergey Boachuk is the big task in front of Virgil Ortiz. He is also a puncher. He lost once to Brandon Adams, and now he's been on a tear. He just got finished dismantling the elusive Brian Mendoza, who has stopped Jason Rosario and Fundora. Yes, a great underdog that got the victory. So he has to go through, Sergey Boachuk has to go through Virgil Ortiz. That's a tall glass of milk. And if they win, if he happens to win, then it will be the winner of Fundora versus the winner of that fight. So we're possibly looking at Earl versus Virgil Ortiz. And this is in a perfect world. Just walk with me. Also, we got Tim Tszyu versus Erickson Lubin. Tim Tszyu has been the wild card of this. He's been trying to fight Jermell Charlo, ain't got it. He also said he wanted the Earl Spence fight. So the winner of Erickson Lubin versus Tim Tszyu is going to be right there. And honestly, I feel like Tim Tszyu is going to do him like he did Tony Harrison. Erickson Lubin, he got a gift decision against Jesus Ramos, which we felt like he lost, but they gave it to him. So Tim Tszyu is going to have him in a small ring, like a dog kennel. He's going to walk him down, and Lubin's going to get stopped like he did versus Fundora, in my opinion. But Lubin could win, but that's a wild card. It's going to sit right there. Boom. Now we got Jermell Charlo, who is petitioning to fight Magnemov. He's trying to fight the IBF champion for that belt. But the IBF champion has already sent out warnings saying, he said, look, Charlo had 2 years to fight me. He been ducking. He said, Earl Spence, if you ducking Fundora, I'll fight Fundora, and then you can fight me for 3 belts. Or he told Fundora, he said, if you ain't trying to fight Earl, then I'll fight Earl. He's trying to get in that ring. He don't care who he wants. He said he's the best at 154. He wants to smoke. So he's sitting right there. We got Magnemov versus Terrence Crawford, right? The winner of that will be the WBA champion. And then after that, Terrence Crawford can either go with Baccarat, with him for the IBF, or Jermell Charlo has been petitioning. So if Jermell Charlo gets a chance at the IBF, then we're pretty sure Jermell Charlo will stop that dude. Well, honestly, I can't even say that Jermell Charlo stops the guy, because Jermell Charlo has been out for over a year now. So that's a 50-50 fight right there. So anyway, we got Jermell Charlo sitting there. We got the IBF champ sitting there. And we got Terrence Crawford, because he's going to destroy Magnemov, right? So, Virgil versus Earl Spence. Boom. Let's just say Terrence ends up having to fight Charlo, because Charlo gets the IBF champion and he wins, right? We will be possibly facing Bud versus Charlo. That's the fight that we've been looking for. That's the fight that they've been calling for. Bud versus Charlo. It doesn't get no better than that. And if that's to happen, then we got Spence versus Ortiz. And if Spence versus Ortiz, Spence wins, he's getting the tune-up that he actually needs. So then let's just say the winner of that. Now you got the winner of Tim Tszyu versus Lubin. And if Tszyu wins, it's going to be Tszyu versus Errol Spence. They've already been trying to get that. So you got Tim Tszyu versus Errol Spence. That's another great banger. And like I said, Errol Spence is too much for Tim Tszyu. Plus, he would have been and got the ring rust off. So that'd be great. So you have Errol Spence sitting there with 1 belt. Terrence Crawford sitting there with 3 belts. Now, this is where it gets tricky. Crawford versus Charlo. So it won't be 3 belts, but it'll be for 3 belts for the winner. Charlo and Crawford is a fight I want to see. Charlo is a skilled fighter who can get lateral, power in both hands. He actually hits harder than Terrence Crawford. So we're going to see the IQs on the line. We're going to see the king of 154 versus the king of 147. It's going to be undisputed versus undisputed right there. And the winner is up for grab. I can't really say who will win because I think Charlo could actually beat him. It's a true 50-50 fight. Charlo has the speed, right? Now, if Charlo wins, then we got Charlo versus Errol Spence, which would be a fight that everybody called for, but me, I've seen them fight. Charlo and Errol Spence. Errol, in his prime, destroys Charlo in the damn ring. He's been doing it. Charlo knows this. But that's with pads, and that's with 16-ounce gloves on and headgear. Maybe Charlo sits there and he goes to work. Who knows? But it's going to be a great fight. They know each other. They don't have the same trainer no more, but they know each other. So this would be a fight for the Aegis Fight of the Year candidate. And let's just say if Errol Spence wins, then we're going to get the fight that we've been trying to make for 4 years, Errol versus Canelo, which is a $2 million pay-per-view fight. That fight goes down. And honestly, if Errol gets enough chance to grow up and get back on his track, Errol beats Canelo. People forget Errol used to blow up to like 190, 200 pounds before the Sean Porter and Mikey Garcia fight. He had to have fat camps. Errol Spence's problem at 147 is he was weight drained. He's been weight drained since he was 27 years old. But he was so disciplined he could make the weight. People would say Errol looks like a middleweight in the ring. And one thing about being weight drained, go back and look at Chad Dawson versus Andre Ward. It will take it away from you. He was weight drained versus Yordenis Ugas. That's why if you look the first 4 rounds, Ugas was giving it to him, and Errol said, it took me a minute, but I had to get myself going. You have to get yourself going. You got to get the adrenaline pumping. If you don't get the adrenaline pumping, you're still going to be sluggish. That's why Yordenis Ugas got off. But Terrence Crawford was very smart and cerebral. He didn't let Errol Spence get that lather, that sweat going. So he hopped on Errol from the word go. Errol didn't get a chance. And Terrence sat there and punished him. Second round, gave him a concussion. The fight was over. So if that happens, we get Errol versus Canelo. It's going to be a beautiful day. Or if Errol gets beat by Crawford, then we'll get a chance for Crawford, who will be 3 times undisputed, to go up and fight Canelo, who is 4 times undisputed. And honestly, they have weight classes for a reason. I don't think Crawford has enough power to hurt Canelo. Canelo will walk through it and do some damage to it. And people sit there saying like, okay, you picked Errol to beat Canelo, but you saying Crawford won't. Styles make fights. And one thing about it, Errol is a much bigger guy than Terrence Crawford. Errol's frame is much bigger than Crawford. People don't realize Errol Spence has bone-breaking power. People haven't seen it because you see him shrinking down. Errol Spence knocks out light heavyweights in sparring. He was beaten on Hakeem Rahman Jr., Sir Marcus Brown. Errol Spence's power is up in the higher weights. And when a person cuts their weight, they're cutting their power. Errol Spence, like Floyd Mayweather said, Errol should be fighting at 160, 168. It's amazing that he stuck around that long down there, killing himself. And that's why I want people to see Errol at 154. You're going to see a whole different level of power. You're going to see Errol Spence unleashed. I feel like 160 should have been his division, but at 154, at least he got 7 more pounds. But Crawford versus Canelo, Canelo's going to walk through it. Yes, Crawford will outbox him, but when Canelo closes out the ring and he starts eating it, Terrence Crawford is going to feel the power. And Canelo is a huge puncher with a brick house body, and he got power. And if Canelo, let's just say Crawford loses to Charlo and Charlo beats Spence, then we're not going to have a Canelo-Charlo rematch. That's not going to happen. But I don't got Charlo going through Crawford or Spence. Either way, I feel like his buck stops around there. But that's how the 154 division is shaping up. It's looking good. Or what if Virgil Ortiz ends up beating Spence and goes through and beats Charlo? I mean, you know, you can never knock nobody out. Then we have Ortiz versus Canelo, a Mexican pride and a passing of the torch. But Virgil Ortiz will get stopped by Canelo. I'm sorry, he's too smart. Well, he's a big guy, but his punching power is not good enough. And we do remember when Frank Martin, he dropped Virgil Ortiz. Mean Machine dropped Virgil Ortiz. Canelo sleeps him. But this your boy Apex the God. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And make sure y'all come through every day, Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Man, party with us, man. We be having fun. Join the AMC FSG crew. This is Apex the God Sosa, and I'm out of here, dog.